The house felt off the moment I walked in. Silence sat heavy, sticky against my skin like a damp morning fog. I stayed in the kitchen, keys still clinking from one hand while the other dug into counter as if it could hold me steady. The wall clock ticked too loud. Every second felt like a hammer against my skull. It was 2:17 p.m. Sarah wasn't supposed to be back. Her car wasn't in the drive, but her shoes, those red work heels, lay scattered by the door. One was toppled, as if kicked off in a hurry. My stomach dropped cold when I heard faint voices floating down from upstairs. I'd taken an early break from the construction site, dust and sweat my daily uniform. Thinking to surprise her, maybe cook the basil pasta she said reminded her of our first date. But the house didn't smell of basil or her perfume. It smelled sharp, like cedar and musk, something foreign that didn't belong. My boots felt leaden as I moved toward the stairs. Each tread groaned under me, announcing my approach into the quiet hall. The voices sharpened, a low murmur with a laugh threaded through it. Her laugh, soft and unguarded, the laugh she used to save just for me. I told myself it could be nothing. Maybe a friend had stopped by. Maybe she'd taken an early day. But my pulse pounded in my ears and my hands trembled as I climbed, every step dragging me nearer to what I didn't want to find. The bedroom door was ajar, a sliver of light bleeding into the corridor. I froze, breath snagging when I heard it, a low, throaty moan unmistakably hers. My heart jolted like an animal trapped inside my chest, scrabbling to escape. I pushed the door wide, slow on purpose, because part of me needed to be wrong. They didn't notice me at first. Sarah lay on the bed, hair spilled over the pillow we shared, her body tangled in the sheets I'd bought for our anniversary. The man, broad-shouldered, dark-haired, shirt half unbuttoned, leaned over her, lips grazing her neck. The image seared itself into my vision, a photo I would never unsee. My throat tightened. For a beat I couldn't breathe, move, or think beyond a jagged hurt tearing through me. "Sarah," I said, my voice low and raw, like a stranger's. They froze, her eyes snapping to mine, panic splitting her face. The man recoiled, shock written on him. But it was a look on her face that gutted me. Guilt, yes, but also something colder, a defiant tilt, as if I had interrupted something she believed she had a right to. "Matt!" she gasped, clutching the sheet to her chest. "You're home early?" The man scrambled for his shoes, muttering nonsense. I didn't care about him. My gaze burned into her. The woman I'd loved for 8 years. The woman I'd built a life with. The woman who'd promised me forever in a church full of roses and tears. Why? The word ripped out of me, raw and jagged, loaded with everything I felt. She opened her mouth and shut again, lips trembling. "I didn't mean for you to see this," she said at last, her voice small as if that could soften the blow. The man moved for the door, trying to slip by me, but I grabbed his arm, my grip hard enough to bruise. "Who are you?" I demanded, my voice shaking with fury I barely controlled. "Matt, don't," Sarah begged, scrambling from the bed, the sheet trailing behind her like a feint. "This is Ryan. He's just a friend." "A friend?" I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound that echoed against the walls. "You don't understand us for your friends, Sarah." Ryan wrenched his arm free, his face flushed, embarrassment or fear, I couldn't tell. "Look, man, I didn't know she was married," he said. Hands up like that could stop my anger. But his eyes flicked to her, and I saw it. The small lie, the private language between them that thought I was blind. "Get out," I said, low and dangerous. He didn't argue. He grabbed his jacket and sprinted down the stairs. The front door slammed, leaving me alone with her. The silence that followed felt heavier than before. Sarah was crying now, streams on her face, but it didn't reach me. "Matt, I'm so sorry," she sobbed, reaching. I stepped back. Her touch would have been a hot brand I couldn't bear. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. It was a mistake. A mistake? I echoed, my voice rising against myself. "How long, Sarah? How long have you lied to me?" She hesitated, and that pause answered everything. "A few months," she whispered weakly. "But how could that mean nothing? I swear, Matt, I love you." Those words hit like a slap. Not because they might be true, but because they sounded empty. I remembered the late nights she blamed on work, the texts left unread, the way her laughter shifted, became practiced. The signs had been there, tiny and poisonous, and I'd let myself believe they were stress, life, anything but this. I had trusted her with the fierceness of someone who'd given everything. I'd blinded myself. I turned away, fist clenched, a wild urge to smash something rising almost unbearably. The room closed in. Her perfume and his cologne thickened the air. I stumbled to the dresser, and my fingers brushed our framed photo from the lake last summer. Her grin wide and unguarded, full of hopeful light. I wanted to hurl it against the wall and watch it splinter like my trust, but my body wouldn't move. "Matt, please," she said, voice fracturing. "Talk to me. We can fix this." Fix this? I spun on her, my anger seething. "You broke us, Sarah. You broke me." My voice cracked, and I hated how much that made me sound exposed. How I still wanted her to explain away, to tell me this was a nightmare I could wake from. She crumpled on the bed, shoulders convulsing with sobs. I couldn't comfort her, not when every thread of me burned with betrayal. I thought of the nights I'd sketched our future, kids, a house on the coast, growing old together, all ash now, scattered by her choices. Then I saw her phone, half hidden beneath the sheets, screen still lit. I snatched it before she could stop me, fingers shaking as I swiped it open. No password change. The message thread with Ryan was there, stretching back months. I scrolled, each line a fresh cut, flirtation, plans, promises. "I can't stop thinking about you," she'd written yesterday. "Matt's working late again. Come over." My vision blurred not with tears, but with heat and fury. She shrank under my stare, face going pale. "You planned this," I said, voice ice calm in a way that felt dangerous. "You invited him into our home, our bed." "Matt," she started, but I cut her off. I raised the phone, the proof pulsing in my hand. "You don't get to talk your way out of this." I wanted her to feel the same hollow ache. Then I found the most precise way to turn the blade. I opened Ryan's contact and typed, "Matt knows. It's over. Don't come back." I hit send, then forwarded the whole thread to my phone. Evidence, leverage, proof. She'd never shed the weight of what she'd done. "Matt, what are you doing?" she cried, frantic as she lunged to the phone. I held it just out of reach, eyes locked on hers. "You wanted him?" I said, each syllable deliberate and cutting. "Now you live with the fallout." I walked out with her sobs trailing after me, and I didn't look back. Downstairs I grabbed my keys, my jacket, and the bottle of whiskey we'd been saving for some special occasion. The irony stung. The cold outside hit my face like an anchor. I didn't know where I'd go, only that I couldn't stay. Not in that house, not with her. The whiskey burned as I sat in my truck, engine idling. My phone buzzed, her name flashing. I let it ring, let her stew, let guilt drown her. I'd loved her with everything. She'd thrown it away. But I wasn't done. Not yet. I'd put myself back together, piece by jagged piece. And when I did, I'd make sure she knew what she'd lost. The messages on my phone were my weapon, my proof, my revenge. She'd never outrun the truth, and neither would.